Jagdeep, I like your background. When you go into the background, you disappear.
I know. Asking him to Navi remove it. My son did it.
What's that?
My son, he did the background. Change it, please. So these days they are also having their school. You know, the teacher is also taking meetings, so they know how to change these things. Navi, remove it.
Ah, he's the one that taught you?
Yeah, I know how to remove it.
Wow, you're in outer space. Oh, no more. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Step inside.
Hi, Michelle.
Yes. Hi, Nina. How are you, Nina?
I'm fine, thank you. I just left, maybe I wrote down the wrong ID number, like I tried to dial, it didn't work. I went to your website again. It was the same number. No, it didn't work first time.
Oh, it's a different number for each class.
Yeah, I know, but I wrote down for each class.
Oh.
Maybe I did put wrong number, and I went to the website again.
Oh, well, good. You figured it out.
Yeah. I cannot, well, laptop.
You got the right angle now?
Yeah, I can't put my not laptop, it's
Bad.
tablet. And I couldn't like figure out how I have to put this. Oh my gosh. I did yesterday. Okay. Maybe I'll do like that.
Nina, meet Jagdeep. Meet Shannon. I don't know if she has her audio on yet.
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
How are you doing, Shannon?
Oh, good. How are you guys?
Yeah, doing good. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, Michelle. Good to see you.
How you doing, Rebecca?
Not bad, not bad. Doing okay. Keeping busy.
Yeah.
Are you able to make any of your hikes and runs to Runyon and out and about, or are you staying put even from that?
I don't go to Runyon much, but we're really close to Griffith Park in some areas. Still.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Mid-City now.
Mid-City. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But my boyfriend who I live with now used to live in Los Feliz, so we went to Griffith a few times, but I never realized how huge that park is.
Yeah. It's so vast and diverse.
Yeah.
Griffith Park open? Griffith Park open?
Certain areas. If you go to their website, it tells you what's closed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it didn't close all park?
No, thankfully. As long as we don't keep our space. Keep it that way.
Yesterday they closed Rain Canyon.
What did you say?
Yesterday they closed Rain Canyon.
Oh.
They closed next to me on the floor. They closed.
Wow. The very few times that I went there, it seemed very full. I mean, before all of this.
Yeah, it was full. Yeah, that I saw because it's next to my home. Yeah, that's the old people are going, like, you know, a lot of groups. Yeah, so they closed.
Yeah. Hey, Leslie.
All I can walk like a little bit on the hill and go back. Hill and the back.
Yeah. Well, if
that's
you
all.
guys need some sweating besides yoga, like shaking sweating, I'm going to be teaching a free Samba dance class tomorrow morning
Yeah, I
at
know.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Just half an hour so that I can recover before I teach yoga at 11. So if you want to join me, it's on
Isn't
my
it-
website, the same place where you got this link. Just go to the Saturday morning time.
Is there going to be like a dance party right after that, or is it just going to turn into a dance party?
Well, it can be a dance party anyway. No,
Awesome. I'm coming.
my cousin in New York is a Zumba teacher, so she actually asked me to lead a specific Samba class for her students, and I was like, "Oh, can I invite our yoga people?" And she's like, "Sure." So 10 a.m. to 10:30, it's a free Samba class.
And how do we find the link?
Yeah, it's on the link where you got this Zoom
Okay.
meeting.
Mhm.
I've added it on the schedule now, so you can just click it just the same way that you got to this one.
Just different ID number, yeah?
Yeah, you can either just click directly or put in the meeting ID. Yeah. All right, everyone. Got any special requests before I mute you all? Nothing.
Low back.
Lower back? Okay, yeah. We're gonna start with a nice deep release of the lower back, actually. So find a nice open space on the ground because we're gonna start seated to get into this position. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you all and pin my video because I am recording these, so you guys are gonna be smaller screens on the side because some people can't make the class times and they're asking for the recording afterwards. Mute. All right, so let's begin in a restorative spinal twist. So come to sit at the middle of your mat. Pelvis right in the middle. And then if this is the front of the mat, turn to face the left side of your mat so that both your legs are extended straight out to the left. I'm gonna scoot away from the curtains a little. And then, so your right hip is facing the front of your mat. Keep your right leg where it is. Slide your left leg to the back of your mat. So now your legs are shaped like an L. Left leg to the back, right leg is over to the left side. Now place your two hands at the front of your mat as if you're gonna come into cobra pose. So your chest turns to face the front of your mat. I know this is a little bit of twister to start, but it'll be nice and releasing once we get into it. So go ahead and make any adjustments from your pelvis down to your feet so that you can comfortably turn your chest all the way to face the front of your mat. You might scoot the right hip back a little. You might bend your knees so it's not so intense, especially to begin. And then once you have that set up, go ahead and start to lower your forearms onto the floor like Sphinx pose. Notice the way you're breathing. Maybe close your eyes and just start to check in with your body, your mind, how you're feeling. And as we stay here for about 2 more minutes before switching sides, I'm going to set the timer. You can start to lower down if it feels comfortable to deepen this twist, coming down onto your stomach, maybe even make a pillow out of your forearms and rest your forehead on top. Or you could even turn your head to the right so you continue that spiraling action in your cervical spine too. And now allowing your pelvis to be heavy on the ground. Stay a little longer in this position. I'm just gonna look at the screen to see that you guys are all doing okay, as much as I can see. Observing whatever your mind is attending to as you begin this practice of dropping a little more into your body, into your breath, and then underneath those layers, into yourself. What does yourself need in terms of nourishment for this practice today? As you clarify your intention, start to clarify your breath. Inhaling a little deeper Through the mouth, whisper your breath out to the very end and then pause. Feel the belly hollow. Then inhale a little deeper. This time, pause at the top of the inhalation. Notice if there's any tension in the body. Open the mouth, empty the breath slowly, a long whisper. And then again, hold the breath at the bottom. Feel that contrast, complete emptiness. And then begin to smoothen the breath out in through the nose. One more time, out through the mouth. A gentle whisper like you're fogging a mirror. Feeling both ends of your breath. Start to walk your hands onto the mat to slowly lift your chest, lift your torso. And as you come all the way up to sit, turn to face the back of your mat. So straighten your two legs to the back of your mat so your feet both meet. And just sit up tall here in Dandasana. Legs forward, feet flexed. Feel the ground as you press through both left and right sitting bones. And lift up from lower spine, middle spine, neck. Soften the shoulders slightly behind you and down. And lift through the back of your skull. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Now cultivating warmth as you close the lips. Just breathe to your nose. Ujjayi Pranayama. Let's slide your left foot to the left. So you're facing the back of your mat. And then bring your two hands to the front of your mat. So now your right foot is at the rear of your mat. Your left foot is now at the right side of your mat, now that you're facing the front. And then just make any adjustments of scooting the left hip back a little. If that's more comfortable to turn the chest completely forward, or bending the knees. And then begin to lower your forearms onto the ground as if you're going into Sphinx pose. Feel your spine lengthen as you breathe in from your tailbone to the top of your head. Feel the shoulders soften back as you breathe out, maybe even starting to lower onto your belly. I'm going to set the timer here for 2 minutes. So I want to open class with, I know we've been talking about the kleshas, which are the 5 roots of suffering. And we've been focusing on, in the past few classes, 2 of them, which was egoism and attachment. Here's a little quote from Surfing Your Inner Sea, a book by Raphael Kushner. Entrenched beliefs are the enemy of serenity, while curiosity is its great ally. I learned to meet the world not with certainty, but with curiosity. I'm going to say that first quote again. Entrenched beliefs are the enemy of serenity, while curiosity is its great ally. Excuse me. Do you remember the old saying, would you rather be right or happy? So just feeling into how we navigate our way through these changes, through these difficult, perhaps, times, and how we can use our perspective and expanding it and looking at circumstances through different angles, having to release certain beliefs that were part of our normal routines, and having to find new ways, new paths of doing things, of thinking about things, of finding enjoyment in our homes. So as we explore opening the body, opening the spine, but also opening the mind, opening the breath, opening flow and ease. I invite you to feel into what can be released to pave that openness onto the paths of what we're navigating through in our daily lives right now. Start to press your hands onto the ground. Lift your body up to sit facing the front of your mat, and just bring your feet together in bound angle pose. So soles of your feet together, bend your knees wide apart, and as you bring your heels close to your pelvis, root down to your sitting bones and lift up through the center of your spine. From your hips, start to hinge forward. Feel the openness between your chin and chest. Breathing in slowly, breathing out slowly. listening to that soothing whisper you create by narrowing the back of your throat. Victorious breath. And start to walk your hands forward as you press your sitting bones further down. And then crawl your hands over to the left side so that you can stretch the right side of your torso and lower back a little more. Imagine you could breathe a little deeper into the right wall of your ribcage. Feel that expand. And then feel the area soften as you breathe out. As if giving yourself a massage, your body a massage through your breath from the inside out. Slow release of the breath. Release of unnecessary tension starting to unravel, and then walk your hands through center. Reach over to the right. Feel your left sitting bone get a little heavier as you focus the breath into the left wall of your ribcage. As you breathe out, feel the left side of your body soften. As you breathe in, feel it expand. And then crawl your hands through center one more time, and then lifting from your chest, firm your belly towards your back. Breathe in to slowly rise up. Swing your legs behind you, and let's come onto all fours, hands and knees, starting to move to the breath. So with your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders, palms flat, knees under hips. Start from your tailbone. As you breathe in, lengthen your lower spine from your pelvis. Then begin to lift the chest and roll the shoulders back, cow pose. As you breathe out, lift your navel towards your spine, tuck the tailbone under your body, dropping your head to round, cat pose. Again, inhale, stretch your lower back. Then arch your upper and middle back. Exhale, firm your abdomen. Feel the rounding of your spine. And then take a few more cycles of cat-cow Beetalasana on your own. Breathing in slowly. Breathing out slowly. Feeling the pace that you need to go throughout this hour and adjusting to that pace which honors your body and how it's feeling right now, and just what you need for yourself, whether it's to be more still and slow down or to shift things around and get more energized. So with palms really flat, index fingers parallel facing forward, tuck your toes, bend your knees, and lift your hips as high as you can away from your hands, feeling a long stretch in your back, downward facing dog. And then take a few breaths to perhaps pedal your feet slowly, warming up the backs of your legs. Maybe adding swiveling your hips left and right, stretching the sides of your waist, sides of your hips. Maybe shaking your head, nodding your head a few times. Really let your head hang loose. As you ground your palms flat, lift your shoulders up away from your neck. And then broaden your shoulder blades across your upper back by rotating your triceps or outer upper arms downward to face the mat. And then feel your front ribs seal in towards your back while you firm the front tops of your thighs back. And then let's pause here for about 3 more breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look in front of your hands. As you exhale, step to the front of your mat to stand in a forward fold. Make sure your feet are at least hips width apart, they're parallel. Bend your knees here a lot so your belly could rest on your thighs. And with your hands, catch hold of opposite elbows and just let your spine sway, let your head fall, but let your shoulders lift away from your neck, breathing in, breathing out. Just allowing the spine to decompress. Then keeping at least a little bend in your knees. Press your fingertips either onto the ground in front or your shins. Then firm the fronts of your thighs, your belly, and inhale, stretch your spine forward while sliding your shoulders back. Exhale, bow in. Firm down to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky, watching your palms touch. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Ardha Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Hinging from your hips, exhale, bow forward. Press the ground to your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, bow in. Firm through the legs. Inhale, rise up, palms touch. Exhale, join your hands in front of your heart. One more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow in Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, again, bow, Uttanasana. Ground through your feet. Inhale, rise in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, your hands down your midline into Tadasana. So let's take it to the floor. We're gonna warm up the hips a bit. So with your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead.
Hey, Google.
Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Lower your fingertips outside of your feet. Step the ball of your feet. Come into a high lunge. So I'm hearing sound from somebody's background. Please check to see that you have a red mic with a cross on it on your screen to make sure that you're on mute. Thank you. And then from here, you're on the ball of your back foot. Lift your chest forward and let your pelvis sink. Now, if the ground feels too low for your hands, put your back knee on the floor. As you exhale, straighten your right leg, scissoring the right hip back, fold towards your right shin. Pull the belly in. Inhale, rebend your right knee. Chest forward, sink the pelvis. Exhale, scissor the right hip back, lengthen your chest forward to fold. 2 more rounds of breath like that. Inhale, bend into a lunge. Exhale, scissor the right hip back, straighten and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. Now this time, inhale, lunge, lower your back knee, firm your right foot still so the right knee and toes are facing completely forward. And with your left hand directly under your left shoulder, tack your right hip back with your right thumb and begin to turn your chest to face the right side of your mat into a spinal twist. What could feel really good right now is to actually use your right hand to press the top of your right thigh as you root down to that right leg and get a little more leverage to help release the lower back if you feel any stiffness there. Let's take a few breaths here. As you inhale, feel your lower spine lengthen from your pelvis, the crown of your head lengthen towards the front of your mat. And as you exhale, the shoulders stay relaxed away from your neck, and you're continuing to rotate the rib cage. Turn the chest. Last couple of deep breaths here. Look at your right foot. Plant your 2 hands flat. Step into plank pose, top of a push-up. Let's pause for a few breaths with your shoulders right under your wrists or above your wrists. You can have your knees on the ground for support or your legs straight for more rigor. Couple more breaths to feel the lift of your lower belly, supporting your lower back. Neck is long, shoulder blades are spread onto the back ribs. As you exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows back and feel your arms grace your side ribs. Come all the way to the floor. Point your toes firmly on the ground for cobra, a few breaths. So let your upper back do most of the lifting of your chest. So much that you can lift your hands off the floor and you're still in cobra. And then as the hands are down, imagine you're dragging them towards your hips without moving them actually, and feel your collarbones widen. Press the ground away and lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. As you ground through your palms, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the left knee, rotate the thigh open at the hip. Take another breath in and tap your right hip back. Feel that right side body lengthen. As you exhale, slowly step your left foot just inside of your left hand. Come into a lunge with your fingertips on the ground. And here, if the floor is too low for your hands, you could set your right knee on the floor. Inhale, sink your pelvis, broaden your chest forward. Exhale, scissor your left hip back, straightening the left leg as you fold forward. Back and forth, inhale, rebend your left knee, sinking your hips. Exhale, scissor your left hip back and fold. Couple more rounds of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor the left hip back and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. This time, inhale, lunge, set the right knee down. Make sure your left knee and toes are completely facing forward. Keep your right hand just under your right shoulder on the floor. And with your left hand, hook your thumb into the crease of your left outer hip and stretch the spine forward down the midline of your mat. Breathing in, shoulders down the back. Exhale, turn your chest to the left side. Now you could also use that left palm and press the top of your left thigh, getting a little more leverage to help release the lower back. Shoulders away from the neck. Continue to lengthen the spine forward as you breathe in. And maybe twist a little deeper as you breathe out. 2 last breaths here. Looking at the front of your mat, lower your 2 hands and step forward to bow. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold. Root through your legs. Inhale, circle your arms to rise all the way up. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center. We're going to change it up a bit. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway. Lower your fingertips. This time, step the ball of your right foot back. Come into a high lunge. As you imagine that you're scissoring your legs towards each other, feel a slight lift in your pelvic floor, stability from your center. Then root down through your legs and raise your arms to stand in crescent lunge. Bending your right knee, allow your tailbone to anchor downward. Yes, nice. Lift your frontal hip bones and continue to scissor the left hip slightly back, the right hip slightly forward. Now feel the reach of your arms and fingertips lengthening all the way down the sides of your waist. Relax the shoulders down, lift the heart, take a deep inhale. And then backstroke your arms and feel the chest broaden as you lower your hands to plank pose, top of a push-up. Just an inhale in plank, then exhale, glide forward. Hug your elbows towards your ribs to lower all the way down. One inhale in cobra, keep your legs firming into the ground. Tuck your toes, press up through all fours or plank, then lift your pelvis back, downward dog. Breathe in, breathe out. From here, ground through your palms. Inhale, raise the right leg back. As you exhale, bend your right knee, turn open at your right hip. Inhale, tack your left hip further back. As you exhale, lightly step the right foot just inside of your right hand. Come into a high lunge with your feet hips width apart, parallel. Imagine you're scissoring the legs so you find that stability from the ground up. Then inhale, rise up. With a bend in your back knee, draw the tailbone downward and lift the back heel. Lift your frontal hip bones and scissor your right hip slightly back, left hip forward. Last couple of breaths here in crescent lunge. Feel how you wrap your triceps to face the front slightly, and it helps to broaden across your shoulders. Circling your arms behind you, take an inhalation with the heart, find a little back bend, lower your fingertips at the top of your mat, exhale, step forward to fold. Heel toe your feet together to touch. Press to your feet, inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms to rise up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. So now let's break down before continuously flowing through Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskar B. Bending your knees to touch. Let's take a few breaths in chair, Utkatasana. So shift your weight back towards your heels so that as you sit in chair, you can look down and see your toes. Then look forward and relax the shoulders and hug the bottom of your front ribs in. Let the tailbone descend. So feel your knees touching, your feet touching. With an exhale, shift forward, lean forward to fold. Inhale, press to lengthen forward. Step to plank unless you normally jump back, flow through chaturanga, lowering forward and down. This time, cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Firm the belly in to lift the hips. Downward facing dog. With your hips squared, Inhale, lift the right leg back. So this time, keep the two hips balanced. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose. Feel the belly engage. Use that to softly step the foot forward inside of your right hand. Now make sure your feet are about hips width apart, just like the lunge. But differently, spin the back heel down, pointing your left toes diagonally forward. With your two hips facing forward, just bring your arms back by your sides. Remember that scissoring action in the legs? Feel that to stabilize you from the ground up. And just hover your belly off of your front thigh. Now look beyond your mat on the ground. Breathe. Broaden the chest. Nice. Draw the right hip back. And from your center, imagine just under your belly button. Feel that strength there as you start to lift the torso and arms right into Virabhadrasana 1. Few breaths here. Yes. As you're bending your front knee right over the heel, continue to draw your right thigh bone back into the hip socket. Feel the contrast of rooting down through the outer edge of your left foot while spiraling your inner left thigh towards the rear of your mat. Take one more breath. Use the exhale to lower from plank through chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Second side. Start with your hips squared. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Feel the belly firm. Exhale, bend knee to nose. Softly land, left foot inside of your left hand. Feet hips distance, spin the right heel down, pivot the toes slightly forward. Hips squared, feel the balance through your legs as you just hover your arms back by your sides, palms face down. Lift the belly, hover off your left thigh, and then broaden the chest as you look at the floor ahead of you. Couple more deep breaths, feeling the stability at your center. And from your center, begin to lift your torso, raise your arms, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Beautiful, bend your front knee right on top of the heel, yes. Draw the left thigh bone back. Feel your right outer heel firming into your mat. Spin your inner right thigh towards the back of your mat. Lift your frontal hip bones. On an exhale, lower your hands to plank. Take a full vinyasa or tone it down, cat-cow, hold plank if you want to practice more of that. And anytime you could skip this part and go straight to downward dog. When you arrive, take about 3 to 5 breaths to slow down and smoothen out your breathing to affect your moving. We're going to wrap up this round of Sun Salutation B, and then we'll flow through it once together, one breath, each movement. So focus mostly on consistent, steady breaths. Bend your knees, look forward. At the end of your exhalation, hold the breath out and lift your pelvic floor to walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Feet touching. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Knees touching. Inhale, bend your knees, weight back towards your heels and chair. Root down to exhale, rise up. So now let's flow from the beginning. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step to plank. Exhale to lower forward and down, or whatever your version of vinyasa. Making your way to downward facing dog. From there, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step it forward inside right hand, spin the back heel down. From your center, inhale to rise. Warrior 1. Exhale to lower from plank, your version of vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale. Second side. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step the foot inside left hand, right heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior 1. Exhale, lower to flow or step back to downward dog. Feeling your breath. Slow and steady. In downward facing dog, 3 to 5 breaths. And when you're ready, bend your knees, look forward. Bottom of the breath, lift your pelvic floor to lightly land. Top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, chair pose. Join your hands in chair here, and let's begin a twist. So as you keep your hips still, turn your chest to the right, and then pause, breathe in. You might sink the hips back a little lower, lengthen the spine forward, and then exhale, so you can twist a little bit more. You got about 3 more breaths. You could use the leverage of your left arm outside your right thigh. You could hook the elbow and keep the hands in prayer. Just peek at your left knee and make sure your 2 knees are in one line. One is not forward of the other. Last breath here. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale back to chair pose. Exhale to rise all the way up. And just bring your arms by your sides. Maybe close your eyes. Feel the earth under your feet. And take a deep inhale. Through the mouth, exhale. Feet touching, knees touching. Inhale, sit back in chair. Join your hands at your heart. Exhale, start to twist to your left side, taking your time. Each inhale, lengthen through both ends of the spine. Hug the hips still as you exhale. Continue to twist. You might open the arms, you might hook the elbow, keeping your heart higher than your hips. Harita Utkatasana. Last breath here. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale the arms up. This time, start to lower your pelvis all the way to the floor for a few breaths and boat, lifting your legs. Find your balance as you lift navel towards the spine, towards the heart. And maybe close your eyes, slowing down your breathing. Visualize breathing into the bottom of your spine. Inhale there. Exhale, 7. Into your lower belly, inhale. Exhale, 6. Into your upper belly, inhale. Exhale, 5. Into the center of your heart, inhale. Exhale, 4. Into your throat, inhale. Exhale, 3. Almost there, right between the eyebrows, inhale. Exhale, 2. We got this. Above the crown of your head, breathe in. Exhale, cross your shins in front of you. Plant your hands in front and step back to hands and knees, either a few cat-cows or plank pose out of vinyasa. We'll meet in child's pose for a few breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. So whatever circumstance arises, whatever posture gets thrown in, how do we go with the flow, allowing our mind to be open, to seeing it from different angles, finding benefit, no matter how it looks like, how rigorous it might feel at the time. Can we slow down the breath and bring perspective through that simple yet powerful tool? In child's pose, bring your elbows to the floor and bend your elbows, shoulders width apart, right in front of you. You're sitting all the way back towards your feet. And then with your fingertips pressing into each other, almost like hands in prayer, but there's a lot of space between the palms like this. Trace your thumbs down the back of your skull, down, maybe even down the back of your neck if you can go that far. So we're stretching into the lats, around the sides of the upper back, the triceps, the shoulders. So as your elbows are pressing into the earth, you're lowering your head towards the earth. And the further back you trace your thumbs, the more intense you might feel that stretch. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. Nice. Start to lower your palms onto the floor. Come up to all fours, hands and knees. Tuck your toes behind you. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Couple more deep breaths. With very bent knees, look in front of your hands. Bottom of your exhalation, lift your pelvic floor to lightly land at the top of your mat, forward folds. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Keep your fingertips down. Now, if your hands are not touching the ground, you could bend your knees in order to do that. Feel as if you're pressing your heart through the gates of your arms, lengthening your neck and broadening your chest as you gaze at the floor ahead. Now feel the lift of your navel towards your back, lengthening from tailbone to crown, steady breaths. Keep your gaze forward. Now flex your right foot and begin to lift your right heel back into supported warrior three until you can feel that your right heel is at the height of your right hip. You can even look under your belly at your right toes, also making sure your hips are leveled, they're squared. See that your right toes are all facing the ground. Give your right leg the feeling as if you're pushing your right heel against a wall directly behind you as you're pressing your heart through the gates of your arms. Breathe. Now begin to slide your right hand about 1 foot in front of your left big toe on the floor or maybe on a prop. Use your left thumb and press the crease of your left outer hip back to feel the security of hips squared, navel drawing in. Keep firming the right heel back as you breathe and lengthen the spine forward. Now just at your waistline, begin to turn your chest to face the left into revolved half moon pose. You might add raising the left arm up and start to feel your wrists and shoulders stack in one line. Breathe in and lengthen from your right heel to crown. Shoulders down the back. Exhale, turn the chest. Last 2 breaths. Parita, Ardha Chandrasana. Look down in front of you, lower your 2 hands. Inhale, lift the chest, maybe lift the right leg a little higher. Exhale, step right foot next to left. Forward folds. Bend your knees and inhale to roll up, stacking 1 vertebra at a time. And just bring your hands behind you for a moment. Interlacing your fingers, hug your elbows towards each other. And with your knuckles of your thumbs grazing your lower back downwards towards your tailbone, feel the lower back lengthen. Lift the back ribs away from the tailbone. And then begin to hug your elbows closer together as you tilt the heart up into a gentle standing back bend. Draw the shoulder heads down. 2 more deep breaths. Let your hips gently press forward, opening the hip flexors. Then release your hands, mountain pose. Grounding to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Crawl your fingertips forward on the floor and lengthen your spine parallel to the ground. So you might bend your knees here in order to have that feeling of a flat back. Feel the lift of your lower belly towards the back. Feel your chest broadening forward as you lengthen your neck. Look on the ground ahead. Steady breaths. Flex your left leg. And solid in that left leg, begin to raise your left heel behind you so that it arrives at the height of your left hip. Draw the right hip back. Feel the squaring of your hips. You might even look under your belly and see that your left toes are all facing down. Feel how powerful that left leg is supporting your balance. Breathe in, lengthen, spine forward. Start to slide your left hand about 1 foot in front of your right big toe. Place your right thumb on the outer crease of your right hip to slightly tack it back while you lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, rotate your chest to the right. Feel the steady hips as you twist at your waistline. Maybe add raising the right arm and revolved half moon pose. Inhale, press back to your lifted left heel and lengthen your crown forward. Exhale, draw the shoulders down the back and continue to twist. Last 2 breaths here in revolved half moon pose. Parita, Ardha Chandrasana. Look down in front of you. Lower your 2 hands. Inhale, lift the chest, left leg a little higher. Exhale, step the left foot next to the right. Forward folds. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step back either into plank to lower through one more vinyasa, or meet us straight in downward facing dog. We'll be there for a few breaths. From downward facing dog, spread your fingers wide, breathe in, come forward into plank pose. Pause, lift the navel, lengthen the spine, shift forward, and very slowly lower all the way down to your belly, legs straight back in Sphinx pose. Pointing your toes, slide your elbows just slightly in front of your shoulders, exactly shoulders width apart. So that you're able to lift your chest, your forearms are entirely on the floor in front of you. Yeah. And then bring your knees as close together as you can. We're actually going to stretch the quadriceps and open up the shoulders a bit. And cross your left forearm on the floor just in front of your chest. Your chest stays facing forward. Bend your right knee, backstroke your right arm so that you're externally rotating your right upper arm to open the shoulder. Catch hold of your inner right ankle or foot, so the big toe side rather than the pinky toe side. And as you do that, bring your right knee closer to your left knee until your knees are no wider than hips width. That's to support your lower back. Then reground your right hip bone and turn your chest forward again for a few more breaths. Bring your right heel gently towards the outside of your right hip, just slightly outside. Grounding your pubic bone. Soften both shoulders down the back. Relax your tongue and jaw. Last 2 breaths. Lengthening one of the largest or longest muscles in your body, your quadricep. As you exhale, release the right leg straight and come back to Sphinx pose, both forearms in front of you. It might feel good to just turn your head side to side, flutter the lips maybe. All right, slide your knees as close together as you can to start. Cross your right forearm in front of your chest on the mat. Bend your left knee, backstroke your left arm, catch hold of the big toe side, the inside of your ankle or foot. Have your knees no wider apart than hips width. Then reground your left hip bone to the floor. Bring your left heel slightly and gently towards the outside of your left hip. And with the help of your right forearm in front of you, turn your chest forward and soften both shoulders down and up. 3 more breaths. So that you don't feel any compression in your lower back, actively stretch your tailbone back towards your inner right heel. Keep your knees no wider than hips width, so you're helping the traction, the lower back. And with an exhale, release the left leg and lower your forehead all the way to the ground. So we're about to come into Dhanurasana, bow pose. If you've got some lower back issue, pain or stiffness going on there, that might not feel so great right now. So an option instead would be coming into Shalabhasana, locust pose. I'll demonstrate that first. Locust pose, the legs stay straight and parallel. The arms can either be back by your sides as you lift everything you can off the floor. They can be open. The arms can be forward for more rigor. 5 to 8 breaths. But if you're going into Dhanurasana or bow, bring your knees as close together as you can. Then bend both knees. Reach both hands back to catch your outer feet. Kick your legs towards straight while pulling your feet, using the power of your legs to lift your knees. Coil your chest up. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. 5 to 8 breaths. So in either of these 2 back bends, opening the front of the body from front of the thighs, hips, belly, torso, chest. Great for stimulating digestion. When you release, drop your legs. You can pigeon toe the feet to help splay the lower back open. Turn one ear to the ground and just take about 3 deep breaths into your stomach. Helps to relax the nervous system and stimulate the digestive system. Belly breaths. All right, one more back bend. You could either do one of these 2 that we just went through, locust or bow, Or you could roll over onto your back and prepare for bridge. I'll get into that one if you want to follow me for that. So for bridge, with your knees bent, feet on the ground, separate your feet about hips width and make sure they're parallel. Bring your arms down by your sides, slide your feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not. Then grounding through your feet and shoulders, breathe in to lift your pelvis, actively stretching your thighs forward. Slide your upper arms underneath your back ribs. And while keeping your arms straight, if your hands easily touch, you might interlace your fingers. 5 to 8 breaths, your count. As you're rooting down through your feet, you're engaging your hamstrings, lengthening your thighs forward, lifting the chest, and tilting your chin slightly back. Encouraging expansion in your lungs, expanding capacity for breath. Now, whether you're on your back or your belly, when you decide to come down to release, just rest there and bend your knees. Gently drop your shins to the left together, to the right together a few times, releasing your lower back. Inhale into your stomach again, but exhale slower out through your mouth. Cooling, releasing breaths into the stomach, out through the mouth. Let's take one more breath like that. Gently begin to make your way up to sitting. So we'll sit up facing each other. Extend your left leg forward. We're going to set up for one more spinal twist, especially after those deeper back bends. Either step your right foot in front of your right hip, so I'm acting like your mirror here. I'm saying the opposite of what my body's doing. Or cross your right foot outside of your left knee, step the foot down, or bend your left knee as well. At each step, going deeper and deeper into setting it for this twist. So just find the step that allows you to sit comfortably with 2 sitting bones down and spine upright. Then circle your right hand behind your pelvis on the ground. Press down, even with that right foot, and breathe in to lengthen the spine up. Exhale, turn your chest to the right, and either hold your shin on top or hook your elbow outside of thigh. Then visualize the alignment of your spine here. Can you feel from the tailbone up each vertebra that your crown hovers above your tailbone within the curves of your spine? Then the shoulders are relaxed, throat is open, turning the chest as you breathe out. Last 2 deep breaths. And you might even continue breathing into your belly while you're massaging and helping to rinse your digestive organs here. On an exhale, unwind your torso, straighten your left leg forward, but we're going to come into a hip opener. So start by splaying your right thigh open, crossing your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Flex both of your feet here. So you want to stabilize your knees. Then, with your left hand, catch the outside of your right foot, right? And then start to use your right hand to just encourage your right inner thigh to roll open. Right inner thigh rolls open. Ground to the sitting bones, lift the chest, and see if it feels good as you're holding that leg to lift it up, and just gently rotate that right thigh bone at the hip socket, just lubricating the hip joint. Keep flexing your right foot. You want to feel stable in the muscles around the right knee, supporting it to point in the same direction as the middle toe of that right foot. And now if you can sit upright, you could bend this left knee and continue to cross the ankle on top of the thigh, so the left foot is flat on the floor. Place your hands alongside your hips to help your spine stay upright, shoulders relaxed. The closer you slide your left foot towards your pelvis, the deeper the hip opens. So find the depth that is just a good balance. You could still feel the breath relaxed and flowing. Now, if your calf is really close to your chest and you feel like you need a little more, you could cradle your right foot and knee between the crooks of your elbows like a baby. Keep flexing the right foot and re-slide that left leg down, flexing the left foot. And then sit up for the last 2 or 3 deep breaths. Shoulders relaxed, heart lifted, breath calm. Now, with your right peace fingers, the index and middle, clasp your right big toe. Keep flexing both feet. Now, if your ankle is on top of the thigh, start there. Left hand right on the floor beside the left hip. Begin to turn out the right thigh at the hip. Keep the knee as bent as you need, but whatever degree you can, straighten that right leg out to the right and re-ground your 2 sitting bones. Try to sit up tall. So we're in a seated version of Uttita Hasta Parambushtasana. That's it. Relax the shoulders, lift the spine. Couple more breaths here. Feel the external rotation of your right thigh bone at the hip. Nice, and then extend the right leg forward and set it down. So let's start with the left ankle on top of your right thigh, flexing both feet again. Use your left thumb, left index finger to cup the inner side of your left thigh and roll it outward. With your right hand pressing into the sole of your left foot, pressing against it. Feel the stability in that left knee. You could stay right here, sitting up tall, breathing. You could plant your hands alongside your hips and bend your right knee, going a little deeper into that hip opener, stepping the right foot down, so that the closer you slide the right heel towards your pelvis, the more intense it becomes. So find what's just right as you breathe into it. If your left calf is right across your chest, you could cradle it between the crooks of your elbows, still flexing your left foot, and release that right leg straight. Work on sitting tall, relaxing the shoulders. 2 or 3 more breaths. Aha. And I remember that rolling motion. So you can re-hold that left foot, left knee, and just rotate the left thigh bone at the hip socket in both directions, just massaging into the hip joint. Making sure you're stabilizing the knee by flexing the left foot. You're engaging the muscles around the knee. So seated Uttita Hasta Parambushtasana. Use your left peace fingers, index and middle, to clasp your left big toe. Keep flexing the feet. Place your right hand alongside your right hip. Sit up tall. Begin to extend the left leg as you turn it out to the left. And then relax the shoulders. Root into the ground and feel a lift through the spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lifting the chest. A couple more breaths. Good, and then set your legs down. We're gonna do one more. Hamstrings and hips. We're gonna straddle the legs apart. Flex both feet. I know we're doing a lot of feet flexing there. We'll point them out afterwards. And then bring your hands in front of you to start. And as you're flexing your feet, keep your knees pointing up. Sometimes they'll want to roll forward. Keep them upwards. And then see if you might be able to lift the pelvis by pressing the ground with your hands and maybe scooting it forward. And then from here, with hands in front of you, feet flex, ground the sitting bones, lift the spine. Either stay upright, or if you can keep this open space at your throat and begin to hinge forward from your hips, slowly walk your hands forward. Each inhale, grounding through your sitting bones, lengthen and lift the spine from the pelvis. Each exhale, chest broad, throat open, fold forward. Let's give this about 5 more breaths in this modification of Upavishta Konasana. Soften the eyes, soften the skin on the forehead. Relax your tongue, your cheeks. See if you might even be able to relax your scalp. When you're ready to come up from the belly in, keep flexing the feet and press through your hands on the floor, lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise up. And with your hands on your outer thighs, bend your knees and lift them up. And close your legs towards the front of your mat. Let's roll all the way down onto your back to lift the legs up in any restful way of a cooling inversion. You could line your back with your legs straight up like an L. You can bend the knees, take happy baby, circle the legs around, plow or shoulder stand if you normally practice that. Take about 5 to 10 breaths. Nice way to cool down and relax the nervous system more deeply, while even more stimulating circulation to nourish the digestive organs in reverse direction. Breathing in, slower breaths out. Now, some options for Shavasana while you're still in this inversion. Things to consider: you might come into Supta Baddha Konasana, which is splaying the knees apart, feet together, maybe placing left hand on the heart, right hand on the lower belly. You could come into just splaying the legs and arms apart. If you have a pillow or a blanket, the weight of it sitting on top of your pelvis can feel very soothing and grounding. You might put a cylindrical pillow or rolled up blanket underneath the backs of your knees, crossing your mat if you have stiffness in the lower back, so that it supports a gentle bend in your knees. So whichever way you set up your body, make sure that it feels comfortable to be still and to relax. Finding your way into Shavasana, close your eyes. Take one more deep inhalation, holding the breath in at the top as you consciously relax the body. Then through the lips, slowly let the breath seep out. And with that, releasing control of the breath, just softening your attention on it. Be here for a few minutes. Feel into your body. Observe how you've affected the way you feel, your practice. Starting with small, gentle movements, start to wake up your body. And pointing the toes after all of that flexing, circling out the feet, the hands, the wrists, the head. As you ease into a stretch, ease into a few deep breaths. And with eyes still closed, turn over to your right side. Take your time, lifting your body up to sit. And sit for 1 minute, closing with a meditation. Sitting tall and relaxed, you might have your eyes closed. You might bring the thumb and first finger to touch. Let your breath be soft and natural. It's my hope as we are navigating our way through circumstances as they change, that through our practice of finding creative ways to still practice, to uplift our own spirits, to feel healthy and grounded. And in so doing for ourselves, we also support each other by coming together like this. And through this practice, we continue to open our perspective, continuing to appreciate the blessings that are still there and constantly coming. Let's join the hands together in prayer, lifting your heart, bowing in, joining in one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, everyone. Good to
Thank
see
you.
Wow, what a beautiful library you have, Shannon. Hi, Alice. Glad you joined.
Hey, Michelle. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah,
Good.
much better after this.
Enjoying your class as usual.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
I really like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you,
See you
Michelle.
tomorrow.
Just a reminder, tomorrow I'm going to be teaching a free Samba class if you need to shake things out like I do. 10 a.m. to 10:30, and you can find the Zoom link the same place where you found the Zoom link for this. Just go under the schedule and click on that tomorrow morning, right before yoga at 11. So come and join us.
Great. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.